What's going on today, guys? I was going to do this video about sales rank on Amazon. If you're an FBA seller, you have to know what the sales rank is and what that means to you. If you've researched it at all, you understand that BSR is category specific, meaning, a 10,000 rank in books is way better than a 10,000 rank in something else. So it's very important to be able to interpret that information, particularly when you're outsourcing or if you're looking for a product to source or whatever. You need to know how important that is, because if you can guess wrong, and you got to know the difference between what's going to sell fast and what's going to sell as a long tail item that may take a month or longer to sell. Another key factor that I think a lot of people miss is the offer count. We're going to get into all that though. Here we go. So what I'm looking at here, I just looked up this barbecue rub here. It's Bad Byron's barbecue rub. I think this is, I'm trying to remember the name of the extension that I have here that shows the ASIN, the rank, and the seller count, FBA seller count. Let's see. It may be Keepa. Maybe Keepa. Anyway, I'm looking at it, and this is selling for $31.99 with a 17,000 rank. Now in grocery, from my experience, anything under 100,000 is supposed to be pretty decent, quick sellers. Now that doesn't mean your item's going to sell quick, because there's other factors. But let's just look at this one real quick. All right, so we got $31.99. Remember, it was 17,000, something like that. I come down here to my Keepa chart. At the end of the day, that rank doesn't matter. It matters, but you need to look deeper than that. And I would rather see this chart than the rank any day of the week. I would rather see this information. When you're outsourcing, you're using the Amazon Seller app by itself, you're going to get a snapshot rank of what it is right then. You're not going to see it over time, and you're not going to know the price history over time. So you have to be careful with that. That's why it is beneficial to have an FBA scan. I like FBA scan because it has the average rank. Just like I can find here on Keepa, I see the average is 43,000. See, it's at 17, but the average is 43. So over the last 3 months, it's still a decent rank, but it's not as good as it is right now. So here's how I read this chart though. And I want to show you this because people will tell you, to get the Jungle Scout estimator, which I'm going to show you in a second, the difference. And there's other ones too. I think AMZ Scout, which I have up top here. Well, I'm going to show you the difference. And the way that I do it has shown to be 10 times more accurate than either one of those by far. So that's your 3-month sales rank. Okay, if you look up here, the green line right here where I'm at, that's your sales rank. Anytime it drops, it's a potential sell. Now, I have a theory on why sometimes it drops bigger than other times. And I'll tell you that real fast. If it's a large drop, like what you're seeing right here, on around June 1st, I think that is because it hasn't sold in a while. Whether that's 2 days a week, whatever it is, it's been longer than a day and maybe 2 days since it's sold. So when it does, it makes a big drop. These little drops, if you notice, they're tighter, especially when you get down in through here. Those are daily sales. That means it's selling more than one time a day. So they're smaller drops because it's already sold, it's already dropped the big drop. So that's my theory. I could be wrong. Anyway, what I do is, first I go to the week. I'm going to count how many drops there have been. It's time consuming, man, but hey, I know that it hasn't failed me yet by doing it this way. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I got 9/10. I don't count some of the little ones. I just take them off for estimated purposes and to be safe. So I say 9, right? So it's had 9 sales this week. Then I go to the month one and I count them again and see if that holds true. So in this case, there should be 36 roughly drops in the month, right? So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and then it kind of does a stagger, and we'll say that's 2. So it's 22. But you got to remember, this particular product, 4th of July is here. People are barbecuing. It's sold more in the last week than it was going to sell all month because of the fact of the holiday. So point being, it's still a month for 22 sales, in my opinion, is pretty good when you take the next factor into consideration, which is how many people are selling it on FBA. So over here, I come to this, and as you can see, there's only 2 prime sellers, right? He's selling it prime and merchant fulfilled. I'm going to tell you why they do that. They do that so if they run out of stock, they still have stock here that they can ship, because there is a delay in the time it takes. So that's a smart way to do it. So anyway, you only got 2 sellers really that you're competing with, because look at his price is way off the charts. I mean, he's looking at $49 almost for that, which is insane. That's never going to sell like that. I think that's why he prices it that high, is in case these other 2 ship out, he's still there, but it's at a much higher rate. So anyway, you got the $31.98.99. So that's 2. So what I do is I add myself into that equation, and then I do some math. So we had 9 this week. That means that I would have estimatedly potentially sold at least 3 of them this week if I had stock there and I had that same price, because you're gonna, if your metrics are okay, you're almost always going to share the buy box with those people. So that's how I dig through a product. Particularly, you know, there's other products on here that are a little bit more, you know, when it comes to books, it gets a little bit more sketchy because you got like 200 offers. You may have 100 or 50 or 40, whatever FBA people selling it. And the math starts to become, well, that's really technically if they buy new or if they buy your FBA version, it could be 1 sale, it could be 5 sales, but it's never going to be a lot. So I've kind of changed my outlook on books. And I've jumped into grocery a little more. And the returns, you know, depending on the item, you may spend $3 on something to source arbitrage and then sell it for 12, and you're going to make your 3 back. So in a way, it's 100% ROI on what you spent, but it is smaller ROI, if that makes sense. Like, it's going to be a small return, but if you have enough sales, it could add up quick, and it has added up quick for me in the last month. I mean, my sales have taken off once I added grocery and home and kitchen. But I wanted to show you guys this on the sales rank, because if you're out, I hear a lot of people talk about, well, show Jungle Scout. You know, we're going to go to Jungle Scout real quick, right? So what did we say? We said 22 a month, right? Between 3 sellers right now. It's roughly, take that other guy out, it's really about 11 sales per person, right? So I'm going to come back here. And I remember it was 17,000 something. But let's just go down here to this and grab it. 17,244. Right? So I come up here to my estimator, which is on junglescout.com. It's one of the free tools. I'm going to pick grocery and gourmet food, and I'm going to paste that. Right? 271 sales a month. That's bogus, guys. That is not selling 271 times a month. It's not. Not even close. Not even close. I don't even think it's sold that many times in 6 months, much less 1. That's saying per month. Total sales. So they're saying that between 3 sellers, we should get 90 sales a month. Guys, that's bogus. That is beyond bogus. That will get you in trouble, bogus. You know? So look at that chart and you tell me how there's 300 sales. The dips, remember, are potential sales. It can't drop unless it sells. Now, I have another theory on that as well. In and around, like when you get above 50,000, particularly in grocery, you start to have items that don't sell as much. So when something does start selling consistently, it's going to drop quick. But once it gets down under 25,000, it starts holding a little better, because now you're with other items that are selling potentially, consistently as well. So you're not dipping as much. So, that's why it has a, you see how it dropped from up here around 75, 80,000, right in here, it started dropping quick. And then now it's kind of just, even with sales, it's kind of just staying around 25, 20,000 in that range. So, but it's not 271 times, guys. Not even close. Not even, it's just not close. And I click here, it's telling me 143 times a month, which is, I've heard people on YouTube to say, well, you take the median of that, you go in the, whatever the average is between this one, AMZ Scout, and the Jungle Scout is about where you're going to be. No. You go by, in my opinion, this is my opinion, it hadn't steered me wrong yet. You go by the keeper chart and the average rank. You can take your average rank and you can tell if it's been selling consistently or not at that rank. And you can take your drops and divide it by the sellers and know about where you're at. Because another thing you can do before you source this that I've found has been very, there's a lot of things that go into this, guys. And like I've said in other videos, do your own research. Don't trust what these other people are telling you. So you look at your chart, you count your dips in a week, you count your dips in a month to make sure it's consistent. You take in seasonality and all that. You divide those by your seller count, FBA seller count, that has a consistent, that's around the same price, competitive price. And that's about where you're at. Now, you may get more than that, you may get less, but I found that I usually get a few more than that because of the next thing. So I'm going to click back here. So here's these 3 sellers. There's another Chrome extension called How Many, and it's free, I think, for like 3 times a day, something to that effect. But you click it and it's telling you how much stock these guys have left. And I want you to notice something else. Estimated monthly sales, 29. To me, this is 10 times more accurate, literally 10 times more accurate than Jungle Scout on the estimated sales. And it's also telling you the estimated 30-day price, which is another thing we're going to look at. But I go down and I see that this guy that's in the buy box right now, he's only got 1 left. This guy here has 42 left. So he's going to be in stock. He's got about 2 months supply, maybe even 3 months. But when he runs out, he's going to have twice as many sales because of the fact that he's the only one prime. So this is why this would be, in my opinion, a good item to jump into. And you could probably buy 10 of them, which would be 20 because it's a 2-pack. And you could compete with this guy for a month at least and have half the sales. If you bought 20, you'd have probably 2 months supply if you're competing with only one other guy. So I want you guys to really understand that it boils down to research, but it does not boil down to using tools to research. You can do all this yourself for free. Keep us free. The How Many is free for, I think it's either 3 or 5 searches per day. And I use it consistently every day, at least 3 times. So the next video I want to get into is about the sales rank as far as what is a good sales rank for the categories. This particular grocery, I stay under 100,000. However, I've kind of upped that to 125,000 because I found some items that were selling, 7 to 10 times a month with only 1 seller that were at 125,000 or around that range that I can jump into and get 5 sales a month out of it. And one of them was, I'll tell you, some applesauce. And I sent 3 of them, they were gone like in 2 weeks because the other guy, he ran out. So it's just me. So I have a couple items like that. And I think what's going on, guys, is these people, particularly the bundled stuff, which the applesauce is bundled as well, they're creating the listing for a bundle with, Bad Byron's Butt Rub, the single pack has a ton more sellers. Let's get back to that page real quick because I want to show you what I'm talking about. Okay. The single of that exact same thing is a bestseller for $17.63. There's 7+ FBA sellers. It's in the top 1,000 though. This joker's selling like crazy, right? But you can sell get the same or better profit margin selling the double with way less competition. And it's selling just as much as far as you're selling one double. You only need one sale to make that $6-7. Whereas on the other one, you got to have 4 or 5 sales to make that $6-7. So it's the same thing, same profit margin essentially. So anyway, I just wanted to jump into that. One more thing I do want to show you to make sure you take into consideration that a lot of people don't, and I've caught myself not taking it into consideration, and it's very important. I broke even a couple times because of this, is the sales price. Now you look, I usually keep it on the 3-month, last 90 days. It's consistently stayed at $30. Around the end of June, last week of June, it was $29.99. He jumped it to the $31.99 that it's at now because he knew July 4th was coming up. Smart move. So he's still getting sales, but he's making $2 more. But you want to make sure that line's like that, and it's not all over the place. You don't want to see it up here at $31.99 and then jumping down to like $28 all the time, because then you got to know that you're going to be. They're doing that to when there's more than a few FBA sellers. They do that to keep the competition away. Because most people, if it drops to 25, they're not going to make much money. They're not going to do it, so they go away. This guy had enough stock to keep doing that. So anyway, just a quick video. I wanted you guys to see that. And like I said, don't trust Jungle Scout all the time. I don't trust Jungle Scout at all, to be honest, especially with the estimators. Like I said before, I'd much rather see this chart than the sales rank or anything else. This chart has never steered me wrong as of now. So just keep that in mind when you're sourcing. Keep that in mind when you're researching online on your laptop or whatever. And let's keep researching, guys. Let's keep doing it ourselves. There's plenty of money out here for all of us. We just have to do the work. This is the work. It's not. You can't take shortcuts. And to me, the Jungle Scout is a shortcut that's not even accurate. There's other ones that might be accurate, but as far as the free tools, that one's not accurate. So just keep that in mind when you're sourcing, all right? Talk to you later.